Well, first I just have to say I've spent many days in my youth watching the transfer window close, final hours on Sky News, so it's a pleasure to have you here. Yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan. I have to be honest, when you said you were from Sky News, I just got very excited. Could you repeat the question one more time? I think the lesson for the president is that it's not enough to diagnose the crisis in working class Americans' lives. You have to deliver on addressing that crisis. This is a president who ran a campaign on the promise of cheaper groceries, and now, as was said by one of our co-chairs, has gone so far as to cut SNAP benefits for close to 2 million New Yorkers. Someone who is literally making it harder to afford those same groceries whose price he was decrying not that long ago. And what scares Republicans across the country is the fact that we will actually deliver on this agenda. And the contrast is something that they cannot bear to witness. And I try to keep my focus similar to that cover on the New Yorker where the world ends at New Jersey, and thinking about what this means for our city instead of for our nation. And I will tell you that for our city, what left me with such great hope last night were the stories from so many New Yorkers who had never voted before, who had lost hope in politics years ago. And to stand here before you, having received over 1 million votes in an election that saw turnout the likes of which we haven't seen since 1969, it shows that politics, once again, is offering more than just a settling for the crumbs that are not able to meet the needs of so many families across the city. We are finally offering a vision that can meet the scale of the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please. I look forward, I'll first answer your first question, then I'll go to your second. I look forward to meeting with Jamie Dimon and meeting with anyone who is concerned about the future of our city and is invested in the vitality of that same city. And these are not very different from the conversations I had over the course of this campaign with many business leaders who, while we may have disagreements on fiscal policy, we also found many areas of agreement as to what the city actually needed. And I think it is critically important that we start to embody a style of leadership that does not demand agreement across every single issue in order to even have a conversation. We need to be able to deliver for New Yorkers, and that means to meet New Yorkers, even those with whom we have any disagreements. So I look forward to having those kinds of meetings, be it with Jamie Dimon or be it with other business leaders, and continuing to show that our affordability agenda is an agenda that would also benefit businesses across the city. Because what I've heard from many of those same business leaders is that the inability for city government and state government to provide universal childcare has led to businesses sometimes having to provide stipends to their own employees given the expense of that childcare. Makes sense because childcare in this city costs an average of $22,500 a year, which is a burden that many families cannot bear. And I also look forward to streamlining the regulations within city government. I'm someone who believes deeply in the public sector, believes deeply in public regulation, and I also believe if I cannot give you an answer as to why a regulation exists, then it likely doesn't have a good reason to exist any longer. And that extends to when a restaurant owner told me of the $25 a year he has to pay the city for the right to sell a frozen dessert, and it also extends to the way in which we fine and fee small businesses across the city, which is why we've committed to cutting that in half. And I have not spoken to Jonathan Greenblatt. I take the issue of anti-Semitism incredibly seriously. And last night in my speech, I spoke about how my city hall will stand steadfast with Jewish New Yorkers in fighting the scourge of anti-Semitism across the city and making that clear in the actions that we deliver on from January 1st. And I look forward to working with Jewish leaders across this city, whether they be elected officials, whether they be rabbis, whether they be community leaders, to deliver on the promise of not just protecting Jewish New Yorkers, but celebrating and cherishing them in this same city.